Deep in conversation with the Yorkshire lady I met on the train coming from the airport, I missed my stop at Elephant and Castle. This leads me directly to a scene I would have otherwise missed. A young man with a book, carelessly crossing in front of my bus, making the driver go mad, heads turned. A scene as eye-catching as a distant graffiti I spot on a wall while strolling with Eva Wilkinson, the first artist I collaborate with in this project. A Pinocchio graffiti. I pointed out to Eva. You know what, she says, though this is my usual way to St. Martin's, I had never noticed it before. On Portland Street, we passed the children's house due to be demolished. I have no idea where all these people will go, she says, and makes a wide gesture with her hand. She often works with places. Documentation. She describes the whoosh sound her audio recorder captures when she records while walking. It's almost as if bumping into space. We say goodbye at St. Martin's. Later that day, I find myself in the Ulm Model exhibition at Raven Row. Design, as seen by the 60s German school, must be political. Deeply engaged in his presentation, Peter Kapos, the curator, wears a proletarian reminiscent jacket with a pen in the upper pocket. A wall is covered in bits of poetry. Each one ends with the word child. The next artist I meet is Grace Holiday. On my way to witness the outcome of her workshop in Aylesbury, I catch a glimpse of an old car on a passing trailer. Even the past must go somewhere. Grace shows me the results of her workshop, some children still around. On a long piece of paper placed on the floor, these children have drawn together patterns found in the neighborhood. They don't respond immediately to abstract representation, she says. Some have a tendency to reach for the human figure. And they try to make a window open on a page. She wants to teach children to let go of copyright. From the many patterns on the paper, I switched to one of the boys' haircuts, displaying pattern borders. A matter of punctuation, all these intricate patterns. Just across the street from where I met Grace is the ASC Gallery. I joined her there, and after she leaves, I head for the exit with one of the curators, Hayato Fujioka. After a few steps in the street, he decides to go back. That gives me the unexpected liberty to follow this woman covered in jewels and badges into a hospital and ask her what they stand for. This is for AIDS. This is for God. This is for the LGBT people. This is for the children's care. And I have many more. I still carry her badges in my mind when I see an ample man on Southampton Way. A fragment of his torso is more alive than the rest and cross-shaped. It's dark when I meet Camilla Beaton in her studio nearby Denmark Hill. She shows me her contribution to the show, a mix of places, original text and references. Place, space, seen through codes. And my feet on the studio's floor, a trace reminiscent of a stencil. I don't miss the 1-inch paper human figure glued to a wall. It has been banned from a finished composition. She takes me to the Imperfect Reverse exhibition at Camberwell College of Art. I see her paying attention to some of the work's manner of display. She does not hesitate to pick at their back. Among the rigorous lines in the abstract words, vivid, rich traces of froth balance on corner of a talking man's lips. Next to visit two of the creators of Acts of Searching Closely. First, Alice Woodhouse at her working place, a fine art storage facility. The complete collections of the Emery Walker Trust and the William Morris Society are being kept here for the year, and she's the one taking care of it. She shows me 2 rooms packed with mainly boxes. A spreadsheet I look at specifies that a certain object is in good, dusty condition and has to be placed back in between the south and middle window. Crammed between clusters of Morris objects, Alice says, I came through all this through his writing. One unwrapped working design for a tapestry has visible pinholes in it, original from the artist's workshop. I have a feeling that if I peer in close enough, I'll be able to see through tomorrow's time. In Herringway, I meet with Barney Newer. Anxious and a little bit worried of what I might do, he fills a small fraction of space on a shy diagonal. Later on, he unwinds and becomes frontal. He's about to meet with the directors of the Asian Center, soon to be named Hub Haringey. He will speak with them on behalf of the Alzheimer's Society with the prospect of attracting them as new members. We get there. An African history event takes place in the main room with music, poetry, and plenty of food. We have to wait for the director in a narrow cubicle. A man enters, sits down, and starts to eat from a plate placed on his knees. After the meeting, we pass through the main room again. The man I just saw eating separately from the others is the poet. I see him on stage reciting. It is better that poets are not seen eating. Barney accompanies me on Wood Green High Road. We talk about how Alzheimer's progresses. Erasing, erasing, erasing. And then, this is my favorite street in London, the real London, Barney says. Somewhere way beyond the tourist's reach. I head to Topolsky Century near Waterloo Station. What was designed as a museum to showcase Topolsky's prolific visual repertoire opus is now a bar. Its owners have done a bad job at preserving the project. An old prison door that leads to the so-called Chronicle Room has had one of his little peep windows stolen, like robbing the robber of liberty. Thanks to construction manager and art director Jonah Mose, I have the chance to see a film set in the making at Pinewood Studios. A home interior, erected walls to be covered in wainscots and wallpaper. I pick at their back, a network of footprints defying verticality. After days of mostly verbal content, I see something hands-on. I see something done repeatedly, one minutious gesture of inspecting something in the making, be it adjusting wallpaper or dusting an edge. The workers there grow into a landscape of working postures, just as the creators at ASC Gallery, as I catch up with them later. I notice Matt Parker's work in process. On one of the black walls of a cubicle, I see iPhones turned off, an advanced stage of black on black. The puppet badges I spot on many Londoners intrigue me, so I asked Professor Alison Green, the Acts of Searching Closely project supervisor, what is the story? They make us remember the war. What a strange thing for a puppy laden with opium to make us remember. I always saw poppies as the flowers of forgetting. Well, it might be wiser to remember a war than to forget about it. But don't build war museums. One of my past drawings gave me a visit to The Guardian. While in Berlin, I attended journalist Lux Harding talk on the Panama Papers affair he has been covering. I sent him a drawing as feedback and we stayed in touch. Now he gives me a tour of the newspaper's office. On one of the desks of a foreign news journalist, I see a world globe and point it out to Mr. Harding. Yes, you have to know where the world is. The Panama Papers story is so big that it was turned into memorial posters which are displayed in the cafeteria. The last one on the row is about Joe Louis' crooked art affairs. You can see the Guardian's first photographer's camera displayed behind the glass window. I look into its lenses. They reflect words appearing on the opposite wall on a print, exposed public delinquencies. A different reflection is to be seen on the metallic back of Freya Johnson's rose shoes. She works with sound as a way to protest against southward construction boom. A game of who is able to live in London and who is not. As I say goodbye, the reflection of a revolving door projects a shoving Fata Morgana effect onto her shoes. Thank you.